Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and as you can probably tell by the title, we're going to do a budget with me / payday routine. I just got paid today, so that's what we're going to do. First off though, just a little background about myself and where I am in life and how that pertains to finances. I currently live at home with my parents, don't pay too many bills or any bills at all. Well, some bills, but don't pay any rent, which is kind of the biggest one. I work a 9-to-5 job where I get paid semi-monthly, which is just twice a month. And I have two big purchases coming up. A wedding, which I'm considering a purchase because it's very, very expensive and I'm spending money, so it's a purchase to me. And a car. I don't have that planned yet, but I know that's coming because my car is old and it's gonna go at some point. So better to save up for it now. And in terms of kind of things that I'm saving up for, those are kind of the two main big things, but also kind of investing goals. I try to max out my Roth IRA, and I put in about 5% of my paycheck pre-tax to my 401k. And before I really get started, I just want to say that I'm not trying to brag in any way, shape, or form. I just kind of want to give some data points and share what a real person's life looks like. And I know my situation might be a little different and not very relatable. It might be to some, because I've heard that more and more people are still living at home with their parents, which slay if you're not too, just saying. But again, not trying to brag, just trying to fill some people's curiosity, but also just kind of put my personal finance journey out there, and hopefully it just, resonates with someone and help someone feel like they're not alone in this journey as well. So first step that I do in my kind of pay date routine is check my pay and what I got. I get paid almost exactly the same or within the same range amount every paycheck. So as long as it's kind of within that range, I won't check the statement. And what I got paid this week is $2,219.41. So that amount is my net pay, meaning everything has been taken out already. So that's taxes, FSA, which is a flexible spending account if you don't know, and it helps you put away money pre-tax for any kind of medical type purchases. So it could be things like help pay for a surgery or like braces if that's what you need, or it could be things just like feminine products, ibuprofen, etc. So I put money towards that. Secondly, it's a pre-tax benefits. This money that gets moved into the FSA is also helps lower your taxable income. So the money I put away no longer counts to be taxed. So that's pretty much a win-win on that. And similar to that is my 401k, where I also put away some money pre-tax. Also helps lower taxable income, but that's more for retirement. Can't touch it until I retire, basically. I will say that I put in 5% of my salary into that. And then I think one last thing is I also have a commuter benefit, which is also pre-tax, which also helps lower taxable income. And I put in slightly more than what I need to pay to get to and from work twice a week with public transportation. Okay, and then step 2 in kind of my payday routine is to budget this money out. And then the way I kind of budget is I am usually a month to half a month ahead in terms of my budget. I use something called YNAB, or You Need a Budget. So for this month of July, I had most of my kind of budget categories met already in terms of I've already hit the goal of how much money I need to put into that, except for wedding. So I put in $990 to wedding. Currently, my minimum goal is $10,000 by the time we need to pay the last payment. So I try to put as much money as I can into that. And secondly, I kind of overspent in my miscellaneous spending fund just because I bought swimsuits and clothes for my trip to Bali in a couple weeks. I don't actually plan to keep it every single one of the items that I have. I plan to return some because I bought kind of duplicates of different sizes to make sure I got the one that fits me correctly. But because of that, I did go over budget in my miscellaneous spending category. So then I put in $120.68 to cover that overspend. Then I saw my dining out fund was going too low for what the month is. I believe I put in $150 a month, but I only had about $20 in there, and I knew I was gonna eat out for the rest of the month. we still have a whole half month to go and I know I have plans to eat out. So I put in another $50 for dining out. And then with that, everything kind of looks good for July. So then I moved on into August and start budgeting for August. Then the first thing that I kind of looked at were my bills. I put in $75 for phone. But for phone, it's usually more close to around $60. But I put in a little extra just in case I get charged accidentally or I accidentally forget to turn off any kind of international calling or international data when I go travel this year. So that's phone. Then car insurance. I put $69.11. Our car insurance is paid twice a year. So I think that's coming up in September as well. So with the $69.11, I'm going to hit kind of that payment each 6 months. Then I have $100 towards my school loan payment. I'm paying slightly more than the minimum. The minimum is about $80. I'm paying $100, so $20 extra each month. And then this isn't really a bill. This is more like a sinking fund for a bill. But then I put $13.88 towards car and registration / smog check, since that basically happens every year. Maybe not the smog, but the car registration happens every year. And then those were all my bills. So now we kind of go into subscriptions. So I put $28 into my gym membership, which is just $28 a month. I have 99 cents in iCloud, which just helps me with my phone storage. I have Kindle Unlimited, and then I put $11.99 towards that. I have Audible, which is $15.99, and I put that much towards that. I also pay for YouTube Premium, mostly actually just for YouTube Music, but it ended up happening that I also get YouTube Premium. I wouldn't say it's cheaper than Spotify, but having music plus no ads on YouTube, I would pay the slight difference that YouTube Music has or YouTube Premium has versus Spotify. And to make sure I hit the annual amount each year, I put in $10.21 a month. And then our last subscription is for YNAB. You do have to pay, I think it's almost like 100-ish, 110-ish a year as well. So I budgeted $10.22 for that. And then third kind of priority is investing. I put in $584 for my Roth IRA. I think I did mention it a little bit in the beginning, but I do try to max that out each year. And that comes out to be about $583 to $584 each month. So I put $584 towards my Roth IRA this month, or for August. And then for my sinking funds, I put $25 to my health sinking fund, which I don't know why I technically have it. I mean, I kind of do know why. As I mentioned, I have the FSA, which is kind of a budget also for my health stuff. I only use that for my prescription glasses and my yearly amount of contacts. And the reason that is because if I ever don't spend the money on that FSA within the year, I will lose that money. And I never really know how much I spend each year on other health things. So for the most part, I just put what I know that I'm exactly going to spend for health things into the FSA. And then this health sinking fund is for maybe if there's like an emergency ever down the line. And with that, I think I have about, I'm trying to do the mental math, around $150 left. And I have a couple things left kind of in other sinking funds and other things I might need for next month. But I already know that I'm still getting another paycheck this month and I could put that towards next month. I just put that extra money into miscellaneous spending because again, I'm going to travel. I'll probably be spending money. All right, so that was step 2. Now, step 3 is to pay off any of my credit cards. I do this every paycheck just so that when the statement date comes around, the amount usually is pretty decently low. I never really spend too much on my credit cards, and they're split up between about 3 credit cards, so they never get too high and their utilization never gets too high. But to help ensure that it never gets too high, I pay them every time I get paid. So first, I'll do my Capital One credit cards. I have the Venture credit card, not the X, unfortunately. And on this Venture, my balance is $596.46. I'm gonna pay that in full right now. And then I also have a Saver credit card with Capital One. My current balance is $135.01, and then I'm also paying that off. And then the last credit card that I need to pay off is my Discover It. And my balance on that is $81.67. So I'm gonna pay that off as well. That was step 3, and now on to step 4. So I try to put any extra money that I don't really need into my high yield savings account so that I make sure I'm earning money on the money that I have. So if I feel like I have excess money in my checkings, I'll put that into my savings. And by excess, I mean, I like to have about $1,000-ish, $1,500-ish in my checkings account. The rest will go into my savings. I can just transfer if I ever need to, but for the most part, I like to stick around that number. So right now I have quite a bit of money. I think last time I got paid, I didn't do that. And I think that's just because I didn't get around to transferring the money into my high yield savings account last time I got paid. So now we're just gonna put in a big amount. Let's just say I'll transfer about $2,000 into my savings. And this doesn't mean I'm actually saving or this is money that's going towards a saving goal. It's just that I don't want extra money that I don't need in my checkings account. And that's basically everything that I do when I get paid, kind of my payday routine, as well as how I budget my paycheck. The budgeting part changes paycheck to paycheck, but this is kind of what 1 week looks like. And I hope you enjoyed this video in one way or another or found it useful. Even if you're just curious, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next one. Bye!